skill level, it's always fun to see wacky plays such as C9s, for example. It's mean of me. It might be a little bit mean of me, and I apologize, but I am kind of hoping for a C9 because it is always entertaining. I don't want to put Castle's Curse on it though right now, but it is always entertaining and it's always fun. Watching everybody in your chat spam C9. So I am kind of hoping, but hey, I'm not gonna say which team I'm hoping takes it because I believe both these teams have already earned a victory in this tournament. They've both played exceptionally well throughout the tournament. Very dedicated players. They clearly, as you were talking about, have that pre-existing team synergy and coordination, proficient of that of even like tier 3, even tier 2 teams. So I am very, very excited to watch them play here. But we've talked about the tanks, we've talked about the maps, we've talked about the supports, and of course Sojourn. Secondary DPS. I mean, taking out Meta's Symmetra, if Meta is forced off Symmetra, and also I'm talking about Portsmouth here as well, what do you think the secondary DPS is going to be? Because that's a lot more of a flexible role. They have a lot more picks to choose from.
So the main trap for Warwick is they have to essentially find something to complement the Roadhog and the Symmetra. One of the things we're seeing evolve early in Overwatch 2's lifespan is almost like a pseudo off tank, something that takes frontline with your tank, with your singular tank. Whether that was Genji in the Zarya meta, where your Genji could dash in, get bubbles, take space, and then your Zarya could go and hold that space with the bubble of her own. Obviously, she gets two. And in this meta, it's like the Reaper, and the Roadhog that sort of play together round a corner, round hard cover, but they play around the Wraith to take a breather, and then the Kiriko gives them protection Suzu to extend that trade as well. And it's going to be almost like a 3-man game that we're going to be hopefully seeing all evening. And we will see if the mirror comes out, which team gets the most value, which team does not overlap their take a breather, their Wraith form, and their protection Suzu. Because Shelter, genuinely, when you have a Roadhog on the field and one of those cooldowns from the Hog and the Reaper goes down, one of it goes away. If the protection Suzu is also used and it cannot come out, both of these Hogs, especially Roston, who is probably going to be playing it all evening long, they're talented enough to just hit a hook, and that hook onto either the Hog or the Reaper will end the fight. Just off that one cooldown alone, they will get pulled in, the rest of the team will collapse on them, they'll get completely sat down and run over, and then they'll just walk in with that vast presence on that Piggy and snowball and clean up the fight from there. No ultimates needed.
Yeah, it's crazy the amount of how far Roadhogs come now since Overwatch 1 being kind of always a weak tank pick. I mean, at some point, main tanks were playing him rather than the off tanks, even though most people consider him as an off tank. But his combination with Kiriko and the fact that, Hog's main counter is either CC or anti-nades where he can't really get out. Suzu's just there to clean up all of that, and then he becomes an unstoppable juggernaut on the field. And as we talk about those hooks, man, if you go against a Hog who can land his hooks, my gosh, the impact that player has, it's crazy. So I am excited to see best Hog wins. It's always fun, and you can always tell I want to see some nutty hooks as well, maybe some 180s. I doubt it, but hey, 180s are always exciting to watch. If we do go to Ilias on first point, well, of course, a notorious Hog map. So I will be hoping that we get some environmental kills there from our Hog players, but you never know, they may actually go, nah, we're gonna play safe and play monkey on that purely for the mobility and just to not get hooked into the world. But I mean, who knows? But I'm excited. I am incredibly excited. So I'm curious, you clearly obviously have a lot of history with these teams, you understand them, you've done your research very well, may I say. What would you say both teams' biggest weaknesses?
So Portsmouth's biggest weakness, I think, are metas emerge where, well, they've made it through the lower bracket and they've managed to scrounge their way all to the finals, but I think Portsmouth really thrived in a 2-tank meta because of the synergy of their tank line. Now their supports are a lot more open. Todos, who is like the spine of this team, is a lot more diveable. So whilst that I do think he's positionally very good and he's taken to this new support lifestyle of constantly being hunted in Overwatch 2 like a duck to water. He's absolutely Bing chilling now, I'm sure of it. But like Kiriko going down early To a hot hook, not good. Portsmouth, as I said, they're a good group of individuals. They're all talented players individually, don't get me wrong as well, but their hive mind mentality can also come back to bite them, because when you play together this much, you sort of you really get inside your own team and what your team can and can't do, and that sometimes means you are unlikely to go outside of your comfort zone. For example, you don't really want to try something new because it's like, well, we've played together for 4, 5, 6 months. For this team, it's like 2.5 years. Genuinely, I think so. And you're not going to play. You're not just going to walk up to scrims one time after 14 months of playing together and be like, guys, I think we should play Roadhog now. Like, sometimes that is genuinely what you need, especially when you come up against weird picks like Warwick. And for Warwick, it is. And I've said, when you have one tricks on your team, if the meta is good for them, then you don't have to play around them and they can just dominate and carry the lobby. And the meta naturally revolves around you playing around them anyway, most of the time, like we're seeing with this Kiriko Hog interaction that I talked about, right? But if the one trick isn't as strong, for example, I think Sim really does struggle right now because of the presence of the Reaper and of the Roadhog and of the Kiriko that can kind of just 3-man run that Sim over, fights it over before the Symmetra can fully charge up a beam. Then that itself is a weakness. You are limited to one character only, and that one character does not function well against some of the stronger and easier characters to play right now. And as I said, when Portsmouth's teamwork is so good, Shelter, they can play the easy characters, they can play the best composition and really mitigate that that individuality that Warwick have got. It's both a strength and a weakness. It sounds really cringy to say, and like I'm sort of just ducking out the answer, right? But genuinely, both of these teams' biggest strength is also their weakness. It's why I think I like watching them face up, because they match up so well into each other. It is just two sides of the same coin. We are going to Ilios as our first map. And Portsmouth, well, let's see what they've got, because I think this map is all right for Hog, but I'm interested to see what else Warwick have got in their back pocket.
Yeah, I am very, very excited, and I as we called it, with Well coming up, hopefully, fingers crossed, second map, I am excited that Ilios was the pick here. Both teams obviously being very respectful in the chat. Very lovely, very lovely. But we do have the Widow players. This is, I personally feel this is one of Widowmaker's best maps. So it's nice to see I Adore You, who I is coming out with the Widow here. Sorry, I'm having a bit of stutter. And we see instantly the first fight heading off here. Warwick Angels taking control of the indoor area. Very prominent space. You can have a lot of cover to fall back to. We see I Adore You, come on, land a beautiful pick here. Can't quite see if you get the lineup and doesn't manage to get a pick. And forced to rotate now. We've just gone a ring around the rosies as both teams have kind of swished around the point, and Rift instantly taking out I Adore You. No Widowmaker players here, as Rift showing who's boss on the Sojourn here. Meta1 on his comfort pick on the Symmetra, just kind of making his presence known on point, but instantly forced out as Rift also takes down Keydog. We go on to a second fight as Portsmouth Paladins take the first point.
Yeah, no surprise to see what Portsmouth went out on as their composition. It is a rush, it is a death ball unit. They look to try and really push back Ruston on that Roadhog to take space away from these DPS to pop off. Meta1 could not walk up against Rift and JJPT, aka Todos Fan 1 on that Arissa. This will just get run over. Lucky Boy is well, it's going to be so crucial on this Reaper at taking down that PD of the Warwick Angels going into this phase.
Yeah, I'm excited. Beautiful hook coming in from Ruston. Can't quite land the kill onto Todos Fan though, as Todos Fan's left at 1 HP, but it's a Arissa, baby. Aristas don't die out here. Oh, he can't quite land the hook from Ruston. I say that Meta1 does return the favor though, finally take him out. I Adore You picks on Rift, and Misa Makanoto takes down Todos. Meta1 also getting a beautiful triple on both Lucky Boy and Toxinator after that first initial pick. And finally, Warwick Angels taking the point, returning favor, only allowing Portsmouth 38% on the point there.
This is a great fight for Warwick Angels. Good understanding of the cooldown rotations that Portsmouth Paladins can come out. Eventually, there will be no cooldowns from the Orisa, both of them lengthy, and the protection Suzu goes as well. And once that happens, they all turn their attentions on to Todos Fan 1 on the Orisa. The Portsmouth Paladins, once that comes out, then they're all free picking. Speaking of free picking, I Adore You puts one into the skull.
Absolutely lovely. Lucky Boy down for the count, and that's kind of going to force Portsmouth back to regroup. They didn't even get far enough to actually commit to a fight here. As the symbol comes out from Meta1 here, I'm not quite sure about that. He's just trying to confirm they make as much space as possible as Rosalind takes on Toxinator to delay another fight even more. Oh no, Portsmouth. This is going terribly initially. It's already only on map 1, and they're kind of getting pushed back right to their spawn. Finally, Warwick Angels, though, pushing back, regrouping on point, and ensuring all their cooldowns are up, ready for this next fight. As we see Lukey Boy here with the Death Blossom. This could be a huge Death Blossom as long as the Warwick Angels don't play around. This lovely little rush there coming up from Totospan. Oh my gosh, a whole hog onto Totospan, though. He can't get pushed back again. Ayadoi with another pick onto Rift. Meta 1 taking out Todos himself. Oh my gosh, Warwick now finally stepping it up. I mean, they're really on the ball there. First fight, doesn't matter. They're now taking control at this point, looking incredibly dominant.
They look so good there. The power of the rush composition gets rushed on by the Kitsune rush, that ultimate so strong in combination with the whole hodge from Roston as well. They just run JJPT on that Orisa out of the building. He completely gets obliterated, and oh no, Orisa no win. 87 and counts on the board for Warwick Angels. I think they could stall this out all the way to a 99.
Maybe, possibly, but keep in mind there are 5 more ults coming from Portsmouth Paladins here. There's a lovely little Rizzo, can't quite seem to land anyone, but Roston takes down Rift. That's a huge pick. Overclock down for the count. Nisa Makamoto takes down Todos, and oh my gosh, a double from the Brigitte player. Lukey Boy can only manage to find 1, and that's Meta 1, but there comes down the beat. I doesn't feel like he can get much more from this as he's left kind of alone in the point with no puzzle up. Oh my gosh, it's looking terrible for Portsmouth, but just first map out the gate. Roston finally taking him out with the hook, but Lukey Boy does manage to take down Misaka. Finally, I adore you, taking down Consternation though. Oh, it's not looking good. Todos fan forced from the doom. Todos does take down Roston though. I'm saying this, Meta 1 though, returning the favor onto Todos on this tracer, going for that recontest. Oh, can't quite seem to push Todos off the map. Sorry, not Todos, T-Dog off the map, I apologize. I adore you. Finally takes him out. And we're kind of going back and forth here. Portsmouth, though, keep in mind, do have control of the point now.
Lukey.
Spitting out Lukey. Does get a pick onto Misaka, though. Rift also
they won it.
With both the DPS popping off here.
Oh, they won it all the way through. They managed to store the point for this entire time. Warwick Angels, really nice job of getting the flip, getting the rotation to win that fight. But the respawns that Portsmouth came in, really smart swaps. Lukey Boy went on a rampage there. Quick little 2k from Tracer, and that's all that you need. Overtime whip starts, and 99% for Portsmouth.
I'm speechless. This fight's going back and forth. I thought Warwick had it in the back. They were looking so dominant. Totospan instantly taking down with them, just denying any pushes. And I believe that will be Portsmouth taking Ruins. Oh my gosh, the fights were going back and forth there, back and forth there. If that's an example and a representation of what's to come in these next few matches, I am hyped.
Absolutely, I was going to say that myself if you didn't, because that is just such a good microcosm of how both of these teams match up. And I'm not going to sound like a broken record, so I won't say it too many times, but why Portsmouth won that is the swaps that they made, the comms that came in from Tox, who was most of the time has been their coach. Unfortunately, their main support Sheep graduated last year, so Tox just had to come in to fill that role, and did a great job, a great shot caller. I've played with teams on him in the past as well. Really great mind for the game. The swaps that are called, the swaps that come through are so good, and their target focus, the main thing, Shelter. They are only able to win that fight because of the target focus. They do a great job of stalling the point with that Doomfist, and then Lukey Boy comes in as they're all looking to thirst down that Doomfist. Oh, Warwick. Lukey just comes in, gets a pincer on that Tracer, 2 kills, and the fight is won from there.
Oh, you're 100% right, Jace. Adaptation. It's so good. You can practice the same comp all as you want, all as much as you want, but if you can't get that adaptation down, you are down for the count. And Portsmouth Paladins proving that they've got that in the bag. As we see Rosling, no, can't quite land a hook onto Totospan into the well, so he's forced to stay back as Rosling's still going on these TP flanks. I love to see it. Lukey Boy actually takes down Misaka, and we're just seeing a fight back and forth, forced to prop primal from Totospan 01. And we're just like, the fight's going back and forth, but we're not seeing any more picks apart from that. So I believe that should be Warwick Angels slowly taking control of the point, bit by bit, giving Misaka plenty of time to actually come back on the back piece. As I say, Rift taking down I Adore You with that lovely little Trojan. I can't remember what it's called. Lukey Boy with a beautiful barrage taking down the Blamp and T-Dog, and Roz then finishing them up. Portsmouth then capping the first point here, or the first fight, sorry, on well.
It looks like Warwick had control of that objective, but Portsmouth were playing the angles, they were playing the waiting game. You're always going to win late in the fight when you've got the Farah in this open neutral on control, because of the threat of the barrage. Once that hit stand goes down, once I Adore You falls, he's now going to go off the Sojourn over to the Widowmaker, then the bird in the sky, Lukey Boy, is absolutely free to do whatever they want. And they range justice straight down the throat of T-Dog on that Kiriko. Once that Kiriko goes down, we've talked about the power of the Kiriko and the Roadhog. Roston is next to go, but Roston, nice revenge shot. There you go, got what you wanted.
Oh, we love to see it. There's an environmental kill, but I say that I can't get happy for too long as Rift takes down Ayadoyu and Lucky Boy takes down Misaka. That's huge things coming from Portsmouth Paladins here. Yes, you got an environmental kill, congratulations, but it doesn't matter. We're still going to win the fight, they say. As the symbol comes down from Meta 1. Getting great value, actually, denying Lucky Boy, mitigating that damage, but the barrage is out. This could be huge from Lucky Boy if he lands a big one as Misaki comes back, returning favor. There's the barrage down, takes down Meta 1, but Ayadoyu says that's all you're going to get as he takes down Lucky Boy in return. Todesfan takes down Rosden as well, and that should be Portsmouth taking the fight. Bit by bit, they're clenching back and they're still holding on to the point. 64% in the bank as Rift takes down Tito. Todos with a beautiful ultimate onto Misaka, and Rift clearing up Ayadoyu. Another fight in favor of Portsmouth here.
Man, 70% on the board and counting. Warwick are going to need a response. They are going to make some changes. It's going to be the Ana and the Soldier to come out. They have to get rid of this Pharah. It's been such a bane. It's such a thorn in the side of Warwick Angels and Portsmouth. They've been winning in the sky and they've been winning on the ground as well. The 3-man game from the Orisa, the Ana, and the Sojourn have been so good. And in the air, Lucky Boy's been dominating. Unfortunately, I cursed him. He dies now. Is this a chance for Warwick to get themselves back in? Well, they're going to have to.
They're really good to do. As the meta, as we were talking about, meta still has that adaptation down. Yes, he may be a symmetric specialist, but he can play other DPS, proving to be dominant on this Soldier as he does take down Lucky Boy. But that is a Pharah that can get back to the fight quickly. Just kind of bit of chip damage back and forth, and now someone's talking about there's Lucky back. A beautiful hook from Rustin, can't quite finish him off though. I say that, there it is, finishing off Lucky Boy down to the count yet again, and that might push down Portsmouth back as Warwick take control of the point. 27%. Can they bring this back here?
I think this is a great response from Warwick. Unfortunately, now Portsmouth get the beauty of being able to counter swap. They just go off the Pharah. Touch going to go over to the Lucio here any second now. There we go. And well, Warwick's whole comp is designed to counter a pharmacy, and it's not available. Now they have ultimates. Luckily, this Bob is going to be a great way for Warwick to score the point, and they're going to need to find angles from Ayadoyu and Meta 1 on these double hit stands. Their comp isn't the best against what Portsmouth has got, but it's absolutely winnable with the ultimate.
Oh, I just want to keep it attention. Rift being left on like 20 HP or something. There's nothing. It's still staying alive. Beautiful here. Soda. Lucky Boy does eventually get taken out by Meta. Ross then can't quite land the book. It is now stuck in the middle of nowhere. Thankfully gets out thanks to his breath of fresh air. Meta 1 still looking incredibly, applying a lot of pressure here. Rift actually takes down Ayadoyu with a lovely little railgun shot. As Rustin still caught out, but thankfully you always got to be caught out with that Roadhog. That's the beauty of Roadhog as Meta 1 gets a doubles here with his tag visor. Triple kill. Oh my gosh, Meta 1 looking so dominant. Symmetra isn't his only champion ball, baby. This is how we do things over in Warwick. Oh my gosh.
Great clutch from Meta 1. All the space has been made by Rosden as well. They get the pick onto Lucky Boy to open the fight. Meta 1 completes the 4K with attack visor. Great investment, low value ultimate. It's going to get them all the way to 94, 95. We're going to last fight territory once again. Warwick, they still have ultimates in the bank. This nano onto either Meta 1 or Rosden is going to be so crucial from T-Dog.
Yes, it's really up to this Nano. We'll see how it goes, and it gets pushed down onto Meta 1. Can he get any picks there? Lovely little anti-nade coming on from Keydog, getting both Rift and Toxinate, but no picks quite seems to be landed. Ayadoyu does eventually take down Todesfan, but Rift returns the favor with a beautiful overclock. Lucky Boy takes down Misaka. There's so much pressure being applied from Portsmouth DPS. Rostin actually takes a pick onto Rift. Rostin looking incredibly dominant on the hold, proving how good of a tank he actually is. As Lucky Boy puts pressure, but gets immediately taken down thanks to the anti-nade from Keydog. Rostin clears him up. Ayadoyu also taking down Todos. A lovely little hook again. Rostin looking so dominant. And there comes a point switch. Rorik still overtime left for down into the count, trying to go for environmental kills in that Orisa ultimate. Can't quite seem to land it, and Warwick take well.
Todos fan 1, aka JJ, did a little bit of trolling there at the end, but unfortunately, the ultimate wasn't going to matter in the long fight. Portsmouth almost had it just quite, but Warwick's ability to kite and play with those hit stands at range was so good. You saw Luki aggressing onto T-Dog and Ayadoyu as that Ash and a combination, that 2-man game. But once Lucky Boy's fade is gone, the anti-nade comes in and they're just free picking. Tox could not speed his Reaper down in time. So close. Warwick played it great. They played it so well these last couple of fights. Like, Portsmouth were on the better composition. They made the counter swap against these hit stands. They tried to rush them over, run them out of the building after Warwick counter swapped for the Pharah. But Warwick in these fights where, as I said, their composition isn't the best, it's not the most optimal. They played their ultimates and their individual mechanics so well. And I mean, Portsmouth win one thanks to communication and teamwork, and Warwick win one thanks to top off and solo play potential. So we really are getting a great look at both of these teams to start out anyway.
the DPS potential, but not to mention Rosden looking incredibly dominant on this hog. We just see chip damage coming back and forth from both teams. Totospan actually forced to be demech by Rosden and eventually gets cleared up by Meta1. That's already the tank down on the side of Portsmouth, as Rosden also clears up Todos as well. Warwick again looking to win this first fight on Lighthouse here. It's all this for Ilios right here. Map 1. Toxinator does get the res on Rift, but I don't think that's going to really affect much, as Portsmouth are going to be kind of forced out. Rift now left alone. Poor guy left the point. Can he get out? That's the question. It looks like thanks to a bit of spam from Leaky Boy, he actually managed to be able to, as Totospan's pushing here with the D.Va.
And now Meta1 on the sim, so good. This, I think, is the best point out of all the three for the Symmetra. And that composition, they can just TP Rosden everywhere and sit themselves in the back of the point. Nice, the hook that comes in on Todos, but it's traded. Sim down.
We do see Sim down here, so you're talking about Meta1 being a key factor on well. Now down for the count. That's a huge, great play for Portsmouth. There's another pick coming back and forth. They are all so low. Lucky Boy actually takes down Ayadoyu and Rift with the overclock onto Misaka. Rosden, though, with these consistent hooks, but it doesn't matter. Rift with the overclock onto Rosden as Lucky Boy finishes up Keydog, and that's Portsmouth flipping the point and getting the first fight win on Lighthouse.
Warwick almost winning that fight thanks to the pick onto Tox on that Mercy. He's going to have Valk ready to go for the next fight to keep himself nice and healthy. But Warwick, they found an answer to this composition. They did manage to get it to win the last round, and now they've got it again. It's just about disrupting and forcing back this pharmacy. It's a lot harder to do when you have to rotate in, but luckily the sim is going to make closing the distance so well. No barrage actually is going to be big for Warwick in this fight as well as Lucky Boy. Well, it's such a strong composition.
Absolutely, absolutely. Bros coming up. I say that Rosden with a beautiful nano whole hog onto Totospan. There's another hog down for the count. Ayadoyu taking down Lucky Boy and Toxinator simultaneously. Sakamoto also taking down Todos. Warwick keeping hold of that point, saying, no, we are still in this, baby. We got this.
Absolutely, they are still in with it, and that fight was so quick, which is perfect for Warwick. They don't bleed over too much percentage, and now their stickiness, their bulkiness of their composition is going to make them so hard to dislodge from this objective. And even if they're losing shelter, it's going to take Portsmouth such a long time and a heavy investment of ultimates 1 or 2 at most to get rid of them. Rift, though, if he can land Sojourn railguns like that, it's going to make it a lot easier.
Absolutely. Rift again looking great mechanical prowess on this Sojourn, sorry. Lucky Boy also getting a pick onto Meta1, and as I was saying, Rift with a pick onto Ayadoyu. Rosden, though, returns a favor on Todos, but it doesn't matter. You've got the Toxinator res coming onto Todos. Rift also with a triple onto Keydog as Todos fan 1 cleans up Rosden. Portsmouth finally split the point. They've got 3 ultimates in the bank as well, while Warwick have absolutely nil points. This is going to look very scary on the side of Warwick. They've got to get a way to deal with as they head on to 63% here from Portsmouth.
Yeah, Todos committing the Kitsune rush in the last fight is actually not too bad for Warwick, but unfortunately they don't have any ultimates or a Kitsune rush themselves to go back in. What that means is it makes the whole hod of Todos Fan 1 a little bit less dangerous. The overclock from Rift, though, is going to be incredibly lethal for them as they're going to have to rotate now. They've got no Symmetra. They're going to have to walk slowly out of cover. They're going to have to peek on these high grounds to try and get rid of Luca Boy in the air. And when they do, Rift is going to try and punish them with an overclock.
Ooh, a trade, but that was worth on the side of Warwick as Meta only used the missiles while Lucky Boy had to commit barrage. Misaka also takes down Toxinator here, and that's no res for you as Todos returns the favor onto Rosden. The main front line going down for Warwick.
Touch!
I did it. I'm so sorry. I did call it. I'm so sorry. The C9.
First map. Where was Rosden? Was Rosden dead? No.
Rosden got picked. Rosden got picked by Todos. Oh my gosh. We barely. It's the first map, guys. Come on. Casting curse. I called it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for Warwick. I apologize for casting cursing you. But where were you? There's the C9 coming from Warwick. I mean, to be fair to them, the fight looked already pretty much won on the side of Portsmouth as they already had 3 picks. But I mean, I didn't even have time to react. I wasn't expecting this to come out so early. Map 1, instantly C9. Wow, I'm excited though. I think if that's showing what we've got coming up, I am gassed. Close fights all around, already going to the 3rd round on Ilios as well. Fights back and forth, no team looking incredibly dominant. It's such an even playing field. I am excited.
Yeah, Portsmouth have been winning it, I think, a lot in the neutral fights, to be fair, but Warwick's individual playmaking and their ultimates have been so good as well. I think in the end there, it was unfortunate that Warwick just didn't have a Kiriko or something like a very clean ultimate to be able to re-engage in the same way that you're always weakest to the fight after you use EMP. I think you're weakest to the composition when you commit that Kitsune Rush as well after it, but Portsmouth only needed that Kitsune Rush. And whilst I was talking about the lack of impact that could come out from the barrage and the whole hog without that aforementioned Kiriko Q button, there's still 2 ultimates, and that's 2 more ultimates than Warwick had. So the fight was so easy for them. You were talking about the pick potential. I actually think the pharmacy is a great answer to it. There's no diva on the side of Warwick. There's no second tank to be able to suppress. And you'd think, okay, not having Diva is potentially a lot better because now the hit stands are more open. They cannot be dove, which means they can contest the Pharah more. It's almost the exact opposite. The Pharah will dive the hit stands by themselves. They will dive bomb them if they sit on the high ground. And well, with how Lukey Boy's been hitting these Pharah shots, if you park another support, with one of your hit stands on this high ground, not only does the hit stand die, the support does as well.
Absolutely. I think you're 100% right there. Lukey Boy also with the far beautiful plays there, kind of going uncontested.
So good.
Yes, Rosden, an amazing hog player, clearly proving his worth, especially on well. But sometimes it is better just to swap to Diva, as you were talking about, and just deny the value from Lukey Boy from getting those barrages. Even if they were just trades, it clearly won them the fight and it won them the first map. As we set up for hybrid, we got 4 maps again. It's going to be either Eichenwald, Kings Row, Paraiso. That's it, I believe, actually. Sorry, I apologize. 3 maps. I can't count. So I'm excited. I mean, I'm going to say most likely these teams will pick Kings Row. It's a fan favorite. But what do you think, Jace?
I think Warwick, considering how good Portsmouth are in the front-to-back compositions, I think Kings Row would kind of be a death wish, I'll be honest. Portsmouth have such great flexibility with their rush compositions, and what we saw from Portsmouth there was Warwick were able to execute a great understanding of delaying the fight and allowing the cooldowns from Portsmouth to come through and basically just peeling them, trading them 1-for-1, and then Roston hits the hook to end the fight, right? But what Portsmouth were doing there is they say, guys, if we just play Pharmacy and we play at a distance, who can the hog hook? You can't hook the Pharaoh unless he's Moose, OW, Incarnate. And Roston did do that a couple of times, to be fair, let's give him credit, but you can't do it consistently. So everyone else playing at range, the only hookable target is a 600 HP Roadhog or an Orisa with all their cooldowns left. And they just go over, quite literally over behind the Roadhog because, hey, your Roadhog, if you realize and you accept that the hook is an inevitability, how many can you get for the side of Warwick before that happens? Because whilst Roston was able to find the picks, he has to go on a flank. He has to give up his cooldowns to do it, and then he has to retreat. Otherwise, he will die. And when he retreats, Meta 1 can't play the game because Symmetra needs a tank to frontline with them. The other DPS is left stranded as well, and the supports, well, they're isolated from that Roadhog anyway, so they're just going to get free flown on by the bird in the sky. And that is what Portsmouth are doing so far. They are kind of slowly dissecting this composition of Warwick. As I said, we know what Warwick are going to bring to the table. They've done it excellently. They're not necessarily just one-trick ponies by any means. Meta 1 had a great performance on the Soldier to try and deny it, but so far Portsmouth understanding of the gaps, the holes in the wall, I don't know if that's the saying, the hole in the wall of the Warwick composition, the gaps in which they are able to operate, they are treading through them, spearing through them like so perfectly. And it's just allowing Portsmouth to essentially walk on isolated members of Warwick and find a free fight win off of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've got this down to a T. You're absolutely right here. As we do head over to Eichenwald, actually, we are going to be seeing. And I adore you. Little cheeky Bastion hover. The question is, do they actually commit to this? I doubt it. No, there's the switch over to the Ash. Eichenwald, very exciting map. Lovely little brawly sort of first point. That choke, very scary to be standing under, especially with Lukey Boy on this fire and Toxinator backing him up as they do head over to the left side here, looking for a little cheeky off angle from the side of Portsmouth. You just see spam though. That's the scary thing about staying in that room, especially when you're going against the fire. The spam is deadly. Oh, a lovely little pick from I Adore You onto Lukey Boy as well. A Toto Spam actually takes down I Adore You though. Oh my gosh. Rift, a lovely railgun onto Meta 1. There's the res coming from Toxinator. But Lukey Boy is up for the count yet again. Can he get as much value as he did last game? Doesn't seem quite as they're forced back Portsmouth though, I do say that.
Yeah, Portsmouth are playing this so well with the Orisa Pharmacy composition, just being able to, well, spare the Roadhog after the hook comes down to Chancellor take a breather and play around this bell tower. If anyone gets picked off by the side of Warwick Angels onto anyone from Portsmouth that isn't top, he's just going to res them on the Mercy. Lucy Boy already got the barrage to go. We have had a minute left to be said, but Portsmouth don't have any resources. Warwick going to freeze the Santa back. Lucy though, a little bit in.
Sniped by a Symmetra of all things, and he gets taken out right in the face of a Roadhog as well. I Adore You also taking out Todos, and Rosden picking up Toxinator, and that should be first point going in favor of Portsmouth as Rosden finally picks up Todos, Fano 1, there's the Orisa down, and finally a Rift. The last to fall on the side of Warwick. I'm not 100% sure what the thought process was from Leaky Boy. Maybe he just desperately wanted to play Ash that bad that he's willing to give up the point and throw away Barrage. I'm not sure.
I think even if you... I think the Barrage is sort of just a little bit too over-eager there, a bit too over-aggressive. I like it going really aggressively, but if you trade 1-for-1, normally you have the res, but Warwick had bought the space, they had taken it off Portsmouth, which meant that Lucy Boy was the furthest forward on his team with that Barrage and just allows Warwick to turn around and really free good of it. This competition takes a lot of time, but Portsmouth already tried to re-engage.
Lovely little lamp coming from Misaka as Rosden takes down Totospan. They did have an ult economy advantage. Now the question is, can they snowball with this? They still do, sorry, I'm saying. As Todos actually, never mind, is coming up to the Kitsune rush here. But Meta with the wall as well. So I believe that Portsmouth can just completely snowball this second point here. And there's the Hog coming towards the hazardous area. As Rosden actually gets hooked after just killing Rift there. Warwick are going to be forced back. Rift down, but actually I say that Rift is rezzed up, but the Count ready to fight yet again. See, oh, the Count fight and the hook. You're not loose yet, buddy.
Almost. And Rosden going for it, right? And it's just even that one pick can end it. Well, speaking of one pick, Lucy Boy gets 3-dodge. Misaka Miyamoto has been quietly really impressive actually on this composition, on this back team, sorry. But there we go. Portsmouth, Portsmouth don't touch. They just get bullied off by Rosden on this Roadhog. They can't do anything. They can't play this Iggy, and such a good time bank going into third point here for Warwick. It's been a little bit split. These fights have been a little bit to the death. Both of these teams taking a really extended trade. Feels like they've been fighting for 2 minutes. Shelter, you're going to have to save your breath for this whole series, I'm sure of it, with the way some of these fights are going. But, hey, this is a great time bank in Portsmouth. They need to respond, and it looks like, well, they're pulling out the Hog themselves.
Absolutely. I mean, Ross doesn't even need to land hooks just to be a scary presence. I say that though as he instantly gets taken down by Todos fans whole hog, and Luki Boy also picking up I Adore You, and Todos also picking up Key Dog. So back and forth, but what I'm saying, back and forth. Blue side completely rolling. Warwick looking so dominant now, finally stepping up on this third point, just forcing Portsmouth back. But that snowball from Portsmouth just completely rolling over second point was absolutely key. As I was talking about, Ross didn't even need to land hooks. His just existence was scary, forced them back, and they weren't even able to touch.
Yeah, the threat of the Hodge is scary enough sometimes, and that's all that you need. The threat of the Hodge is going to buy space in itself, and well, if you do not respect it, then it's just going to land. Speaking of disrespecting, Lukey Boy, that is...
You got to play around cover, buddy. You got to play around cover. As the Rift takes down Rods, and Ahmed with a double onto Misaka. Oh my gosh, I Adore You. Go return the paper onto the Oxinator, but that's looking like all Portsmouth are going to get this fight as Rift gets a triple, finishing off with T-Dog, and Torrespan cleans up I Adore You here. And Meta one.
There we go. We have the fight win finally coming in. Portsmouth managed to halt the payload and stop it there. 3 minutes and counting left on the clock for Warwick, though. Do they make any changes to their composition? Meta one on the sim. It's going to be so good with this wall at being able to just sort of section off the bomb if they make the read that Lucy Boy has this ultimate available and ready to go. I think the key thing for this fight about everything is Rotten as the whole hard. As if this character could not one-shot enough, being able to use that Q button dramatically increases it. But the Suzy was already come down from Warwick.
There's the Casino Rush and the Sim Wall, though, to return the favour. Todospan actually does manage to take down Rosen finally. Hog battles, love to see it. Rift actually gets a pick on I Adore You, but Todospan also with a kill of Misakamoto. Toxinator does finish off Kidog. Meta one actually managing to sneak in a pick there onto Todospan 1 before being eventually taken out by Rift. Now Portsmouth have finally woken up on Eichenwald here. They've got the defense down. Third point is a hard point to push, to be fair, but still got to give it to Portsmouth here. They're now finally showing their cards.
Yeah, that last fight was such a good example of understanding of this composition. Take note of anyone trying to play this composition. They hook in the Roadhog, all the cooldowns get burned, and they just go in with Kitsune Rush yet again. They've got their eyes on the Hog. They're looking to force the Breather and the Suzu in the same fight. They do, but Rosden this time has got whole Hog to answer back Rift, so taking out the Ana.
Misaka going down for the cannon. That is their main source of healing. Done and dusted as Meta takes down Toxinator as well. And now we have Portsmouth just desperately clutching onto this final little point. Only a few meters left on the cart. Warwick now looking incredibly strong and a force to be reckoned with here on Eichenwald as we see both missed hooks coming from Overwatch. He-Dog does take out his Kitsune Rush, but a lovely little hook coming from SodaSpan onto I Adore You. There's the Kree gone. There's no High Noon coming from the Cassidy. Sorry, I apologize. Robson takes down Todas as well, though. Toxinator returns the favor onto Metaspawn. Robson getting a double now on Toxinator, looking incredibly strong. There comes the Nano. Can he get any value from this? Doesn't matter as T-Dog takes down Rip. There's the value. Robson picking up Todas. I think they already won the fight. Oh my gosh. No, there comes a Simmel. There's a whole beautifully placed.
No way, Robson.
People into the corner. They force them back. They can't even touch. You don't even get an ounce of space when Roston's on this Hog. Oh my god.
That is an insane, like, 2v4 from Rosden and T-Dog, by the way. The Ana Nano that came down was, I mean, that was so good as well. It kept him alive, allowed him to buy time to get his cooldowns back. But Warwick, we talked about the individual playmaking. It's going to come out from Rosden primarily when these fights disintegrate, when they fall apart, when it gets into little 1v1, 2v2 skirmishes. Nothing scarier than the Roadhog. JJ, aka Todos fan, 01 did a great job at matching him to start that fight, but once he went down, like, it is just Rosden's world, and we are all living in it because hook after hook after hook, the whole Hog to get both of them in the corner as they walk out from spawn, send them all the way. Excellent understanding of the spray control of the whole Hog to pin them from that left side spawn door from the defensive perspective into that far corner underneath the high ground. Like, so good. They cannot touch the point. And if they did, well, I mean, they were too squishies against a Roadhog, so they were just going to get burnt anyway. Warwick. Portsmouth did manage to drain a little bit of the time bank off the clock, to be fair. Shelter, they took away 3 or 4 minutes going into this last point, but Warwick has still got plenty of time left on the board.
Absolutely. The Moose is loose within Rosden. Amazing. Up-and-comer Hog player right here. We love to see it. But yeah, that was crazy. I thought that Nano on the Hog was a bit of a waste because I thought, oh, they've already won the fight. But then I realized, wait, that was on the side of Portsmouth. They're the attackers. Oh my gosh, this could be huge. Comes out with the whole Hog, forces them all in a corner. Get out of my castle. Eichenwald belongs to Portsmouth here. Sorry, Warwick. I'm getting confused. Eichenwald belongs to Warwick. Beautifully played as we come onto the fight here on Eichenwald now. Warwick on the defense here. T-Dog kind of chilling in the back here, just beautiful heals, ensuring Rosden is topped up and allowing him to carry. We do also have Toxinator and Lukey Boy on the flank here. Ripped. Oh my gosh! What a hook! On from Rosden onto Toxinator. Ripped off. Take out I Adore You and Lukey Boy does finish off Meta, but we can't discount Rosden. He's still there. He still exists. Oh, 1v5, baby. Let's see him more. Give me more, please. I'm begging you. Lovely little pick. Lukey Boy chunked down. We don't even see lovely little pick from Misaka as well, showing that I'm also in the game. He also keeps down SodaSpan, and I believe Warwick will just manage forward there. The res coming out from Lukey Boy. Rosden can't quite able to deny it. The Rip does also take down Misaka, and then that should be a one fight from Portsmouth as long as they can continue to snowball here. I'm saying that Rosden is still alive, and you don't know what this guy can do as he's pulling some nutty hooks on this Hog.
Yeah, I mean, if he can pick the Mercy every fight, then they're going to be in with such a great chance of winning the series. Easier said than done. That's for sure. It's such a good pick because obviously the Mercy cannot resurrect herself, and they win it from there. Just Miyamoto as well getting the pick onto Lukey Boy on that fire is so crucial at delaying and slowing down this pharmacy. We're just going to rain damage and burst down. Speaking of, this barrage getting so close, but
little sniping Symmetra on the main. I love to see Meta with their right click beautifully placed. There's another Nano Hog taking down Todas-san. Todas does actually take down I Adore You, sorry, as Misaka takes down Toxinator, but Rip returns the favor. Lukey Boy actually dies from suicide. I think that must have been blast damage, smash damage, sorry. Another little cheeky hook from Rosden taking down Rift, and we see Warwick still holding on to the point by the skin of their teeth. Only Misaka and Rosden left on the point. Can they hold this 2v5 and a dream?
They're going to have to do it again. Portsmouth have got a bank of ultimates ready to commit, but this is not too bad for Warwick. Just let Portsmouth commit the ultimates and go and hold second point. This is more than sustainable, more than acceptable. But a first point hold on Eikevov. Kitsune Rush going out for Portsmouth. I think he's going to have to be committed, but Rosden...
Rosden, can he deny the rest? Can't quite deny the rest, unfortunately. So, oh, but it doesn't matter anyway. Rick, you are alive and you're dead again. Congratulations. Rosden just looking so strong here. Meta also cleaning up Todas. Fan 1. Oh my gosh, we also have the window now coming from Misaka. We have 3 ultimate side of Warwick, but keep in mind 4 coming from Portsmouth as Todas fan finally switches to the Hog, trying to combat Rosden's complete dominance on the front line here for Warwick. Absolutely insane. It is slowly looking like a 1-1, but hey, we've got a minute left on the board for Portsmouth to finally pick up this point. They do have all economy advantage. The question is, can they capitalize on this?
It's been a lot quieter for Portsmouth this map, particularly the pharmacy. Lucky by not being able to get the value. The Kitsune Rush comes in as the sim wall is up as well. Nice little counter hook, but Rosden just bullies it. No way.
Rosden looking insane. The counter doesn't matter. There's the barrage. You can only get idle even. Rosden also cleans up Lucky Boy. There's the red though. Todas fan back up and running, but Rosden's got the Toxinator as well. Todas fan finally does take down Rosden though, who finally dies as T-Dog looks to take down Todas fan here with a lovely little anti and a nano sim on his arse. Misaka chased down Todas as well, and Warwick looks to just hold this yet again. It's really 6 seconds left on the clock. They've got to touch here, otherwise we're going to be seeing a 1-1 score on the board here. Meta with a double kill on supposed to GTS and a triple wins the Toxinator as well, and that should be it. Warwick Angels picking up Eikevod. This is Overwatch, baby. This is what we like to see.
Absolutely, it is what it is, and this is some of the best Overwatch we've seen individually. This map is just legit a hog diff. I think Rosden can very confidently no ego type hog diff in chat, because this man was cyberbullying not only the enemy tank, everyone, as well, getting so many picks on the Squishy's wrist. Was never safe, could not walk up, because if he did, it was a swift end thanks to the hook that came in from Rosden on the Roadhog. In first map, Portsmouth were able to go up, around, and over, and now they have to face check the Roadhog. They have to walk into him. They walk into his hook range, and Rosden makes them pay every single time. If he'd have just missed one of those hooks, he would have lost the fight. And it's big thanks as well to Misaka on the Baptiste, is kind of the unsung, the sort of forbidden hero on that map on the Baptiste. Got so many nice little picks on the pharmacy, either the Farah or the Mercy, just to take one of them down and really buy space, buy time for his team, and more importantly, buy time for Rosden to land a pick on anyone else as well. The Bapt and the Roadhog demonstrating their pure frag power. They won so many 2v4s, like it was completely unreal.
Absolutely, absolutely incredible. I mean, we saw in that play of the game on Eikevod just now, Rosden taken down to 35 HP from the barrage from Lukey Boy. He still manages to pick up Lukey Boy and survive. Not only is that Rosden with a beautiful positioning and damage output, but also, as you were talking about, with the beautiful heals onto Rosden, keeping him up, keeping him alive. Love your supports, guys. Give them appreciation, especially in your games when they do stuff like that. This is what it's about. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I need to cool down for a bit. That was absolutely insane. I just
I told you guys we're gonna be in for a long run in the map where Portsmouth are able to play the skybox, they're able to play the space, they're able to poke at a distance and abuse the fact that Warwick have to touch on the objective. Then and then we go. They took the win and it was quite comfortable in Ilios. But then we go over to Eikevod and Warwick complete the map. Portsmouth managed to hold them a bit on third, but this first point, Portsmouth didn't even get a tick. They got no sniff of the objective. The fights that Portsmouth were winning was just being clawed back tooth and nail by Misaka and Rosden with that Roadhog and that Baptiste. And it's a tilter for Portsmouth for sure. They're going to have the mental to overcome it. Absolutely. They are not the kind of team to just tilt off that map, but that is a really frustrating map if you're the side of Portsmouth, because Warwick, man, like they just played their game, but they played it 2-10. They played it 101%, and Portsmouth just could not get anywhere near Warwick, man.
Absolutely, man. That was exhilarating. Anyway, as I was saying, I need a cool down after that. We've got a break. We'll be back in a few minutes. I hope to yeah, you come back and join us for map 3. Oh, it's good stuff.
What is that?
It's cutting edge VR, Flynn.
It looks like it's something from the future, you know?
Flynn took a trip to future London, saw something she wasn't supposed to. Now people from there are trying to kill us.
Transcend humanity with Omen.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to an amazing final. We've only had 2 maps and we're already in it. 1-1. It's going to be a long haul. I hope you're ready for the marathon. I hope you got a seat up comfy. I hope you're wrapped up warm for the winter, because this winter's going out with a bang. I am so hyped after that map on Eichenwald. We are heading into map 3 soon on Escort. I believe it's going to be Circuit Royale as well, where we see a lot of different picks and different meta switches. I am excited. How are you feeling about this map, Jace?
Well, both of these teams have gone back and forth. We've seen a fundamental deconstruction of the composition that Warwick are playing on Ilios, and then Warwick's just say, K-Bet, take it to Eichenwald and completely roll inside what? That was like an 8-minute, 9-minute map, but it was 9 minutes of Warwick just all on the left side of the kill feed. I think they died like once. To be fair, they did a lot on the defense. It was just Roston and Misaka like completely 2v4ing time and time again. The level of all of these players, by the way, in case you're just joining us, these are two of the best. I would say two of the best, like the top two collegiate teams in the country over the last year and a half. Their level is so high. All of these players, insane. Portsmouth as a unit, they're a top 32 Open Division team. That is no slouch. All these players are a Grandmaster 1, 4.5 in the old system, like around about that area. Old GM from GM5 to GM1 and Warwick are all around about the same, if not high masters too. So incredibly good players. And for Portsmouth, as good as they are, just to be like 2v4'd like that time and time again by Misaka and Roston is like completely terrifying. That is an unbelievable level of clutch to do consistently, man. Like, these are not gold players, and they kind of manhandled them like gold players on this map. Is it going to get a lot harder now? Yes, Circuit Royale. We're going to see Sigma likely come out from JJPT. That I think that is one of his better heroes, aka Todos fan. 01 on the tank. Rift has been deadly on the Sojourn all night. And Lukey Boy is going to able to probably go back to some of these more brawl picks. But I believe Shelter Portsmouth are starting out on the defense. Do they go for the accursed, the unspoken first point full hold on the rush composition? Yes, they do. So what they're going to do here, they're going to hold close. They're going to try and smush this Roadhog out and deny as much as possible. I believe Roston's actually gone out for this map. Everyone else staying the same, and it's Code coming in on the tank. So yeah, this map really isn't good for Hodge. The sight lines are just too long. So Warwick, they're going to be without that massive pick potential of the Piggy, but they've got the right hero for this map as Warwick roll out on still a non-standard composition, but it's going to do a lot better than a Hog would into this oncoming rush and potential long-distance spam that Portsmouth are going to throw at them.
Absolutely. This is what I like to see from Portsmouth, though. That's what I call B-Tech Goats, baby. This is where they just rush at them, full force, focus the same target. As Coach kind of instantly forced back on the D.Va, trying to peel as much. You're going to have to play way more of a passive role, buddy. As I say that, I adore you. Picks up a double kill onto both of DPS. Rift and Lukey Boy taken out as Code also finishes up Todas. I say all this. Oh my gosh, Warwick looking amazing. He's really stepped up something. Met with a pick on Toxinate as well. And I adore you also finishing off Todas fan. Instantly off the bat, Warwick looking incredibly strong.
Well, I mean, I adore you just peeked on an angle that Portsmouth do not check. And now they have to change their composition. The May comes out from Lukey Boy and the Winston comes out from Todos fan. 01. If Warwick can, if their Widowmaker can just hit 2 shots at the start of every fight, it does not matter what composition Portsmouth try and counter them with. Is that always going to be losing? Look at the space and pressure I adore you is able to exert. The fear factor coming in from Portsmouth is just being drilled into them. They are terrified of this Widowmaker, and look at the space Warwick are able to fire with it.
Oh, absolutely, and there comes the size coming from I Adore You. Landed a nice little clean headshot to Todos fan, bringing him to 1 HP. Though I Adore You, as I say, that gets completely barraged by spam as Toxinity takes him out, but it doesn't matter. Meta 1 cleaning up Rift. I Adore You cleaning up Lukey Boy, and Meta 1 also picks up Todos fan 01. Meta 1 really popping off here with a triple kill onto Toxinator then, and a quadruple kill onto Todas. Meta 1, that is a Symmetra player.
That is a Symmetra player. That is a Symmetra diff. The pocket that comes in from Keydog means Meta 1 is essentially a pseudo punch because he's got the effective HP pool of like 350 at a minimum. The Symmetra so much damage. Portsmouth can't just quite burst this sim down. They do manage to burst this even Meta Code down there for good start, but
a bit of an overextension from Code. Boosting organization from that one as Rift also takes down the baby D.Va, so there's no front line for Warwick. That may force them back. We'll see here if there is any committal. A Kitsune rush also coming out from Todos itself as Rift takes down Misaka, but I Adore You returns the favor onto Toxinator. Todos fan 1 cleaning up Keydog, and that should be Warwick push back. Lukey can't quite get a pick there though. Meta 1 takes down Todos. Lukey still just left with Rock and the Mode Padawan. What I'm saying, I don't know. I'm just too excited by this as Todos fan gets a lovely little double, a lovely little juggle onto Code's mech. Left in baby D.Va, that should be a stagger as Code's forced to reset off the map.
Yeah, Warwick are going to have to reset then as well, and you know it's serious when JJ breaks out the Winston. This is the for emergencies only kind of character for Portsmouth here, and it's going to have to be for emergencies only because already the alarm bells are ringing for Portsmouth Paladins. They committed the Kitsune rush in the last fight. They're going to be a lot weaker now for this one, but the Blizzard from Lukey Boy on the off angle could just be perfect.
Oh, lovely little overclock from Rift onto Misaka. There's your main healer down from Warwick, and that should be probably instantly another hold as Todos DMX code. Toxinator does successfully take down Idoyu. That might be a bit of an overextension from Idoyu's behalf, but Meta One is also on the ball, taking out Rift as well, and that should be another hold on the side of Portsmouth Paladin.
I have to ask how, though, Meta One is being able to aggress onto Rift on this Sojourn. How on earth are they allowing this Rift? Are they playing too far up or what? Because Meta One should not be able to find as many picks as they are, and Todos Fan 1, the Winston has not even been dying to him. It's just been to Iador.
Todos. Todos getting a double kill onto both the backline. Rift also cleans up Meta One. Todos Fan as well onto Code. Code can't catch a break against Todos Fan 1 here. And constantly getting DMX. I think he's focusing way too hard on this mate, trying to eat the ult. You got to track the ultimate correctly. Lukey Boy's only at 50%.
Only at 50%, but trying to hold the DM as much as possible, because Lukey Boy was potentially trying to bait it. But unfortunately, it just does not come down. Now they've got the Kitsune rush as well, and it's thanks to Todos on that Kiriko. The last fight is won. It was a little bit quiet so far from Todos in these two maps. Don't get me wrong, he's not been a slouch by all means, but I was expecting a little bit more from Todos because of how highly I hold this flex deploy. So good, and now getting these opening picks and charging this Kitsune rush. Once again, Todos' rush is perfect and completely wins the fight.
Oh, a lovely pick from Lukey Boy there onto Misaka as well. Kitsune rush, as you were talking about, excellently used just before the fight, but not too soon, so they can easily back off from Lukey Boy. We're talking about the Moose's lease on Rosden there, but Lukey Boy trying to envision Ricky as well from Clockwork Vendetta on this main, looking incredibly dominant as well. Man, tongue-tied, I'm just too hyped, man. I've got so much adrenaline buzzing as there comes the Blizzard from Lukey Boy. Can't quite seem to catch anybody in it as they all disperse, but that is Iadoryu and Misaka completely separated from the rest of their team as Portsmouth capitalized on this. Sorry, Warwick Angels capitalized. No, Portsmouth capitalized on this. I'm going crazy. Meta One also taking down Toxinator,
Nice,
and that should be a one fight. Lovely little Suzu, as you were talking about. This is crazy. Back and forth, back and forth. Ults are being committed. Todos brought down to half HP from Meta One's Reaper, but that's not going to be enough as Lukey Boy gets taken down by Key Dog. Rift with a lovely little overclock onto Code's Baby Diva. There's no remake for you. We've got a Death Blossom coming in from Meta One. Can only manage to find Todos. Rift taking down Iadoryu and Meta One in return. Rift really popping off here on the Sojourn, and that's another hold on the side of Portsmouth.
That's the danger of the Sojourn in this meta. They leave Rift uncontested on this sniper, and Snipe, absolutely, he does. But it was a great little open for this fight. Lukey Boy on that May the Blizzard separates Misaka from the rest of their team, because the Brigitte cannot walk through that May. The rest of Warwick have to, otherwise they're going to get sucked in and frozen. And Portsmouth just pounced all 5 of them. Go onto that break, they snowball the fight from there. Warwick came back, they committed ultimates, but it was Rift who got the last laugh with that overclock. He's been so deadly yet again. He finds a pick. Rift, man, he's completely turned up this map.
Now this is a Sojourn connoisseur. As I say that, the rest of the team are also pulling their weight. Portsmouth just getting picks left, right, and center. You can see in the assists everybody getting involved here, and that's going to be a second point hold on Circuit Royale here on Portsmouth defense.
This was just a masterclass of abusing the high ground and being able to make these rotations, bait these rotations from Portsmouth against Warwick. Obviously, they were really missing that key pick potential. It felt like Roston being out this map. Code, don't get me wrong, they did absolutely fine, but the space that they were able to buy for Meta One and Iadoryu in the fights where they were being extended shelter, I think they were good, I think they were fine, but Portsmouth too many times were able to just go with an ultimate and generate a pick, get a high value target, and completely force Warwick away. Did Warwick kind of understay in these fights? I think so, because there's too many times where almost the time bank was, I feel like their time bank was really their enemy at some point here, because they had 4 minutes left on the clock. One of them died and they're like, let's just reset. But they kind of kept doing it until you got into the 2-minute mark, and then Portsmouth, in those fights, they were just so clean with their execution.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a bit stunned, I'll be honest. Portsmouth now got this down. We just saw Warwick on Eichenwald looking incredibly strong and know their map, know what they're talking about. And now the table's been completely turned as Portsmouth looking so dominant on the defense here, knowing exactly when to engage. Beautiful Kitsune rush usage from Todos. But we are going to be seeing a Zen pick from him. I doubt this is going to be hover. This could even be a Doomfist committal. That dive potential. There's so much high ground involved. So many places Doomfist can stabilize on as well from Toto's fan one. This could be great.
Not going for any silly little rollout as I thought he would. Rift, on the other hand, might be, so I don't quite know if we can contact our observers, but I want to keep an eye directly above Code onto where Rift might be going, because there is a funny rollout you can do on this map as Junkrat. Code, though, just gets one shot. Huh?
Just way out in the open. You've got to place a shield back while you're turning away as Lukey Boy takes him out. But Iador says, my fallen comrade, I will avenge you. And he snipes Lukey Boy directly in the head. Lovely little headshot there, but it doesn't matter. Toxinator's there with the res. Rift spamming from the high ground as a Junkrat should be. The point slowly making progress, already nearly getting close to the second point here as Lukey Boy takes down Meta 1 as well. Chip damage onto this D.Va, slowly burning down as Code forced back. Toto's fan, a lovely little pick onto Misaka as well. Hey, Doomfist is meta now, weird apparently. Oh, Keydog with a beautiful right click onto Lukey Boy, spikes him in the head, brings him down to 1 HP, and then finishes him off with a lovely little left leg. As an Iador, you takes down Toxinator. Rift does manage to demech Code and eventually take him out. Sorry, Code does demech him and Rift takes him out. And he also cleans up onto Meta 1, but it doesn't matter. Warwick Angels cleaning up Portsmouth, and there's first point down on the side of... no, sorry, first point defense still held on the side of Warwick Angels.
This is a crazy fight from Keydog. 1 HP against Lukey Boy, and he gets the fully charged right click every single orb, all 5 of them going directly through the skull and body of Lukey Boy to send that Echo back to the spawn room, and then to get the pick onto Todos fan 1 on that Doomfist as well. Great start from Code to take down Rift. It is going to be res, but at least it's forced, because so far these resurrection trades have been so important for Portsmouth Shelter.
Absolutely. I mean, Code is still doing a great job on this D.Va, but Portsmouth really playing these resurrections well. I'm surprised Toxinator was actually able to get away with that. There comes a tire from Rift and actually managed to land. Misaka caught out with no lamps there. Iador, you take down Lukey Boy on a transcendence from Todos being forced out here with Code with a self-destruct here, ready for a remake. Lukey Boy still taken out though. I don't think there's going to be a committal of this self-destruct from Code, but we'll see as he pushes on. Rift really far forward and gets punished for it. Not quite sure he was doing that way. You think he thought his team was closer to him than they actually were.
Rift getting a little bit over-aggressive there. You kind of have to play in that tight sort of little room as the Junkrat, and Rift is just going to go over to the Sojourn instead. I like it. Meta 1 on the Torb, interestingly enough, not something I mentioned this map, but Torb, I believe if you can't play snipers on this map, or if you already have one of the caliber of Iador, Torb is a great pick at being able to burst the tank of the Winston. He's inevitably going to dive them and just provide so much spam damage, and I adore you, man. It's silly on the Widow.
Absolutely a beautiful clean headshot from him as Code also takes down Todos fan 1. Toxinator does eventually get the res on Rift, but will that be enough? That's the question. There's the duplication coming from Lukey Boy. Can't quite seem to land anybody as Code eventually takes him out of that dupe. As Iador, you also with another beautiful headshot onto Toxinator. Meta 1 getting a double kill onto Tobos. Lukey Boy actually forced to reset from Code. Portsmouth all down. Warwick are still holding, as you were saying. We were talking about Portsmouth being dominant on defense, but my gosh, Warwick looking even stronger.
Warwick looked so good here, and it's thanks to just the high ground positioning that Portsmouth really used to bully them on the first point, except they've not even capped it, on the second point, except it's still on the first. They can't dive Iador because they've got to go through everyone else on the side of Warwick, and they're unable to do that. This Widowmaker is free firing, and Meta 1 providing the coverage with this Molten Crow as well. 15 seconds left on the clock. As top sides, they're going to be fighting this 5v4. They have to.
They actually have to. 9 seconds now. Counting down. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Come on, Portsmouth, you got... This is it. It's now or never. We do see barely any ults coming out apart from a Kitsune rush from Todo, so it'll probably be down to that overtime. Slowly ticking down. They've got to commit. Overclocked actually coming in from Rift, though, I do say. As Meta 1 takes down Todo's fan. Rift returns the paper, and I adore you, but Meta 1 also gets a double kill onto Toxinator. That's it. Your Lucio's down. No peeling. There comes the Kitsune rush from Todos as Rift finally takes down the lamp. There's no second chances now. It's now or never for Portsmouth, and Rift really pulling it out the bag. Here we go. Death Blossom for Lukey Boy. But they C9 again.
They kind of do C9. That was a winnable fight. They just need someone to take the payload, but I think they were waiting for the Reaper to do it, and they just don't quite. Portsmouth, that is not a good way to lose the map. No. Warwick, man, they looked so good. They looked so out of ideas on the attack. The Rift was so confident on this Sojourn on the high ground, and he just didn't seem to want to play it. I think the Junkrat, I'll be honest, it was a little bit grief, as Portsmouth, I feel like they had that in the long fight. They would definitely have the numbers over. They had the respawn advantage over. You do lose your Winston early, but you do it to touch the point, and you've got the Kitsune rush to come through. But Warwick was so undisturbed the entirety of the 4 minutes on first that they had the ultimates ready to go. That Transcendence was sat on basically the entire game from Keydog, and there was really nothing that Portsmouth could have done. Warwick, man, they did their attack. Don't get me wrong, was not good, but their defense was stalwart. The Torb from Meta One, I Adore You on the winner maker, so good as well. And Warwick, so strong on their defensive holds the last 2 maps.
Absolutely. Key Dog's discipline on that Transcendence was phenomenal. And that is when the Death Blossom couldn't quite touch the cart. You're very slow when you're on Reap and when you're spinning around like a Beyblade. It's absolutely heartbreaking. I can't believe we've got essentially 2 C9s because it was definitely winnable with Rift popping off there on the Surgeon for Portsmouth there. Absolutely heartbreaking. 2-1 on the side of in favor of Warwick, as we're slowly going to be heading over into push. We have 4 maps this time. 3 maps. I can't count. My maths is amazing. And this is why I'm an Overwatch caster. We have Colosseo, New Queen Street, and Esperanza. I personally have very mixed feelings about the game mode push. I've heard a lot of negative things to do with game mode. How do you personally feel about push here?
So the first thing to understand is that if you are a push hater, your opinion is incorrect. Why? Because it's just infinitely better than TCP. There is no argument here. If you enjoy TCP more than you enjoy push, stop. Get some help. All right. Anyway, with all that aside, that is something I do feel strongly about. I think it's just factually a better mode, but there are problems with push. Don't get me wrong. It feels like very, very momentum based. It doesn't quite feel like how many meters you get. It feels like when you get them, because so many maps, the team has only gotten 60 or 50 meters, but there's like 90 seconds left on the clock, and the enemy team just do not have the resources to go through. And with the finiteness of ultimates now in the game shelter, you have to be so clean with your ultimate economy. They come up so rarely. And the worst thing you can do in this mode is use ultimates just to start moving the robot back all the way to your barricade. Winning fights where you have to use like a Kitsune Rush in this meta, you have to use a Graviton Surge in an old one, you have to use a Sigma Flux in a spam meta, key ultimates just to get the robot off of the enemy's barricade and pushing back and walking back towards yours feels so bad, because what the other team do is they just use either their main primary win condition ultimate, or they go in with something that you cannot match in the next fight because you used your primary win condition in the previous one, and then they just get straight back on the bot and get more progression again, and it can be so frustrating to deal with. And also, most people have only experienced this game mode in ranked, where people randomly ult 2v5, people play the run picks and everything. It's a very high coordination, macro demanding game mode. I feel it's definitely the most macro demanding game mode out of all of them. You need to know when to give, when to push, when you can really hard commit to a fight, and when you don't have to use 3 ultimates to take the bot. And that's a frustrating experience. But we're in a game where we've got 2 teams coordinated at a very, very high level. So which map? Esperanza is...
I believe Esperanza is going to be it, actually. I think
into
there. Perfect timing.
Yeah, it would have been their best bet. Yeah, I think Esperanza is so good because of just the high ground for Rift to play the Sojourn and the rush compositions that Portsmouth have been going against. It also gives them a great angle for Farah on that first point. And that little clock tower of the Portuguese embassy reminds me a little bit of Eichenwald A, which, to be fair, Lucky Boy didn't manage to get much success out of on the attack, but on the defense he was very, very strong. Apart from up until he went for that 1v5 barrage. But Lukey Boy was really solid on Ilios on the Farah. So Portsmouth, I think, have made the correct pick here. It's also the Portuguese map, so I'm a little bit happier.
Hey, I mean, I'm sorry to say I'm not the biggest fan of Esperanza. I think the map is incredibly long. It takes a while just to get to the center of the point, and compared to maps like Colosseo, which the map's like spiral, so it's a lot shorter to get to that first fight.
Yes.
But yeah, for sure. But I do also, I'm going to predict that Rosden, I think he's going to come back in. Hog is an incredibly scary tank on push because the fight always just takes place around the objective, and that's where Hog thrives. Close range objective fights. Get near to him, Rosden will land that hook on you. channel his moose energy and completely demolish the fight. So you've got to really be careful and play around this. I won't be surprised if we do see Anna pick coming out here, even though she is really slow on Alicia, but also Kiriko being just strong as ever. That's also a potential pick here. But I am very much excited. I'm very hyped for push as well, because we don't see a lot of push, obviously, because it's our fourth game mode. During previous matches where it's kind of been a 3-0, we rarely get a chance to actually see push be played. So I am a little bit excited to see how these two incredibly amazing teams play around this game mode.
And this is actually quietly good for Warwick, right? Because what Portsmouth have is, yes, they have experience and they have a lot of time playing together, but not on these new maps. They've got the same amount of time scrimming, or they've had. Well, let me say this: because Portsmouth have definitely scrimmed more than Warwick. I think that's a given, because these guys play together outside of Newell as well. But they've had the same amount of time it's in the game. They've had the same amount of available hours to access and scrim this map than Warwick have. Whereas on some of these other old traditional Overwatch 1 maps, yes, we're in 5v5, but Portsmouth have so many hours and experience on these maps, like veteran level experience. But to go into these new maps, flanks are a little bit unknown, routes aren't as optimal shelter. It leaves stuff like Roadhog flanks open for Roston, and the chaos that can be created has been really thriving for them so far. I like that Meta 1 pulled out the Torbjorn for that last map on Circuit Royale, because I think as I said, if you don't play snipers, I think it's incredibly strong. And Meta 1 has been getting more success, I think, on the Torbjorn and the non-Symmetra picks so far, which is just a great sign for Warwick, and it's been so well deserved. They played this so well. Roston, I Adore You, and Meta 1 have been fantastic in their supporting cast. Misaka and Keylog have also had great individual moments, and it's really scary because Portsmouth's coordination has been great. It's lacked a little bit in some fights, but Warwick's individual playmaking has been so consistent. And well, flattery is the most invitation is the most sincere form of flattery. Lukey Boy now is on the Torbjorn.
There we go. And we also have Todos fans switching over to the Orisa just to control Rosden's domination, as we saw on previous maps. On the hog there. He could be very scary, so it's really up to Todos to deny this, so to land those javelins and pop that fortify whenever he gets it to run in front of Rosden, and his seeing is working pretty well. I say that, but Rosden's on the flank. Oh my gosh, the casting curse strikes again as Lukey Boy gets taken out. Meta also picking out Todos. Todos fan also goes down to Misaka, and that will be first fight in favor of Warwick. Oh gosh, as soon as I open my mouth.
You cannot predict that. They did not scout where Roston had gone. He got a quick little flank off and hooked the Torb. One of the reasons the Lukey Boy is on the Torb, by the way, is the turret is an immense poke pressure onto this Roadhog and onto Meta 1 on the Sim 2, and the overload means that if you overload before you get hooked, you cannot get one shot. But great patience from Roston, just waits for it to be used, goes on the flank late in the fight, and then gets the pick. Even now, Todos Fan 1 manages to pull Roston in, but he just can't die. The sustain is too big for Warwick Angels' main tank.
Yes, the force swap on the Hulk from Todos fan here is huge, showing how good Rosden is on this Hulk. I keep praising him, but it's insane. He's doing absolutely amazing. I do want to see a cheeky little snipe here from Meta 1, but I say that Toxinator does take down I Adore You, little DSP stanky style, as Lukey Boy also kills Misaka, and Todos fan getting a double kill onto both Rosden and Kidu. Lovely little Kitsune rush from Todos, allowing Portsmouth to win the fight there and clean up Warwick and retaking control of the robot.
They do, but as I talked about going into the map, it's really painful because now Warwick might just be able to come back in with a Kitsune rush of their own, win the fight, and get more progress on the car. So Portsmouth are now going to be down their primary win condition, their most overpowered ultimate, and it's going to have to be a big overclock coming in from Rift. It's not bad for Warwick to lose that fight. You get 50 meters on the board, and whilst the time bank is still so big, something like a hook to come out from Roston, or this Kitsune rush from Keylog is going to be so reliable and allowing them to get straight back on the barricade.
Yeah, absolutely, as Rift comes down with the clock. Lovely little hook from, I believe that was Rosden, sorry. Yeah. But Meta 1 taking down Lukey Boy, turret, and Rosden finally finishing off Lukey Boy. The Molten Corn can't quite seem to get the value that was needed. Todos fan and Toxicity now the only two with ultimates coming up on the side of Portsmouth, but Warwick have a great ultimate economy. There comes down the Symmetra wall. Rift trying to land that pick on to I Adore You, but can't quite seem to get his I Adore You pops overclock. Neither of them getting any value. There's the Sim TP coming out. Rift forced back on this bridge. It's a fight back and forth. Rosden also taking down Todus and Rip force back still. I Adore You. Beautiful picks onto Toxinator and Keysdog also finishing off Todus fan as Warwick clean sweep, clean up, retake control of the bot and push it even further.
And this Hog Soldier meta is so perfect for Warwick because Portsmouth get caught between a rock and a hard place. Do you contest the Roadhog or do you contest the Sojourn? We saw their Tox decided to make the call to abandon his support Todos on that Kiriko and go and help Rift in the Sojourn 1v1, which has been a great matchup so far this series against I Adore You. Once he abandons the Kiriko, Roston just hooks him and kills him, and they lose a key piece. They lose one of the vital pieces of their composition. Support with their room for error, their room for concentration, their lack of concentration punishes them in this fight, and now they just have to commit the beat. But it gets kited. They're just trying to Warwick. They just run away with the rally.
Lovely rally use from Misaka over there. Beautifully played as Rodson also with the whole hog to push them back and actually manages to get a pick onto Todos fan. Also Meta1 taking down Todos himself and cleaning up Roof with lovely little Symmetra right clicks. This is what we love to see, as Warwick looking incredibly strong yet again. I feel like I keep on repeating yourself, talk about broken record. I Adore You finally cleaning up Leaky Boy. I'm constantly saying Warwick looking strong, but I just can't help it. They really are amazingly playing well.
Yeah, they're playing a different style as well. What Warwick's composition is so good at is just sort of really punishing the fact that Portsmouth have to aggress on and into them. There's no Lucio speed boost, no sound barrier from Warwick, but you really don't need speed when Portsmouth are going to always speed into you. What they need to do is abuse the fact this speed that they can use it to kite and disengage, bait cooldowns from Warwick, and then speed back and poke at a range mid-fight or at the start of the fight with Rift. Warwick Angels, their position has been so good because Portsmouth have just not been able to speed anyone. With the speed on anyone as a unit with this Lucio coming out from top so far. I Adore You, great pick over the side.
Lovely overclock onto Rift, but I say that Todos fan gets a lovely hook onto Misaka and takes him out. Todos also taking down I Adore You. Meta1 picking up a Lucky Boy, but Lucky Boy with a lovely little Death Blossom to clean up Meta1. Rosden then finally hog diffs, Todos fan 1, and another fight in favor of Warwick. They do also have the better spawn, so the 3 members who are down are slowly rushing, not slowly, quickly rushing back to the fight to support their fellow team members.
Yeah, the run back is so long for Warwick now. This is going to be a great reprieve for Portsmouth to get themselves back in, but the time bank is not the best. 4 minutes down and counting 88 meters to go. You've got a mountain to climb, and losing Lugi Boy early is not good. Great pick from JJ to try and swing this fight still.
Yeah, it's a lovely pick. As we see, Overclock not quite getting any value on Rift. Can't quite seem to get a pick as Warwick play exceptionally well around these corners. This is where positioning matters in Overwatch. A very underrated and underappreciated factor in the game, as Rift finally cleans up Rosden. Turdus also picking down Keydog, and that I believe will be finally a fight win as Meta1 goes down on the side of Portsmouth. Portsmouth finally retake control of the bot and push it further, trying to reclaim what space was lost.
Yeah, crucial fight for Portsmouth. Now they've got the Kitsune rush once again to try and get themselves back on the barricade. It's going to be a long run back. Warwick are basically going to contest them in neutral territory and give up a couple of meters on the barricade while it's all being pushed. Portsmouth, they should care more about the positioning than progress so far. The Kitsune rush comes down, but Boston dies.
That was a Kitsune Rush whole hog, a terrifying combo, but Rift says, no, I'm having none of that, and takes down Rosden, and then cleans up I Adore You on top of that. And Misaka, as Todos Fan cleans up Meta1, and Rift gets a quadra, finishing off Keydog. I mean, Rift absolutely putting Portsmouth on his back there, exceptionally played from Rift on the side of Portsmouth. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this Sojourn has to be the difference maker time and time again. It is the main advantage that the comp has got. Warwick Angels do not have the range to really contest them outside of I Adore You. And so far, this duel is being consistently won by Rift. The sim wall goes up. This is going to be so annoying, but it's not in the best position, to be fair.
Oh, there comes the Death Blossom, but can't quite seem to land any value with aggressive. The symbol from him. That was a very questionable Death Blossom from Leaky Boy. He had the whole attention of the team. Keydog does finish him off, and I Adore You also taking down Toxinator. Todos going down to Meta1, and Todos Fan 1 also falling to Rosden's Mirrored Hog. Oh no, I'm not 100% sure about that Reaper ult there.
I think it was a little bit too over-aggressive. The cooldowns are still available. I like the read to go for it, but there's no CG that can come out from Todos, and there's no one to really body block or even do anything. So it's just Lucky Boy 1v5. Once again, he gets too over-aggressive, he gets punished, and now, after losing that Reaper, the run back is so long, and look at Warwick, they've just been able to instantly zip this robot all the way back, basically to their barricade. Portsmouth have gone on an adventurous flank, and now they're the ones playing catch-up.
Yes, Todos fan taking out Misaka, but I Adore You with the overclock takes down Rift. Rift finally down for the account. Todos also taking down I Adore You though in return, but Metamon, oh my gosh, red blue. Todos fan also picks down Rosden. It's so even here. It's going back and forth, but Warwick without their front line is at a major disadvantage as Keydog gets taken down by Todos fan 1. Todos also finishing off Meta 1, and that should be Portsmouth winning the fight and pushing the robot back. We are going back and forth here on Esperanza here.
We are going back and forth on Esperanza, but it's not good for Portsmouth because they need to get themselves onto the barricade 40 meters with overtime looming in just under 90 seconds, everyone. Kitsune Rush coming out from Todos is going to have to get the fight win, but once again, it's just going to be to get them back on the barricade. A neutral fight win here without committing that Kiriko ultimate. It's going to be so crucial, but they lose the HUD early.
Oh, a lovely little railgun from Todos fan. That is a vital target down for the count on the side of Portsmouth, and they might be forced back, but it's only a minute left. It's now or never. You've got to either regroup or commit, and it's looking like they're choosing to regroup. A very smart decision. We do have Kitsune and Overclocked still on the side of Portsmouth.
40 seconds is all that separates Warwick Angels and match point from winning on Null Winter 2022 Campus Clash, and they've got the ultimates to do it. Speaking of ultimates, Todos goes first with his Kitsune Rush.
There we go, Kitsune right out down. But a lovely little flank from Rosden. Can't quite seem to get a pick, but does land the hook. They are now aware of him. They've highlighted him, as you can see, by the pings. Rift also there with the overclocks. Does eventually get taken down by Rosden. Very smart, very aware. Love to see it. And we see a lovely little snipe from Todos. Yeah, Kiriko value, baby. A good Kiriko can get so much value as Rosden takes down Lukey Boy as well. These fights are so even. It's trades back and forth. Beat committed from Toxinator. It's now or never. 7 seconds left on the board. Rosden taking down Todos fan. This might be it. This might be Warwick Angels. This could be it for them as Rosden takes down Todos. Todos does return to Meta 1. Toxinator takes down Misaka. Overtime clocks down. It's now another Rift with an overclock. Lovely little hook from Rosden as he takes down Rift. He also gets a kill on Toxinator. Luki gets zero value with the Death Blossom. I Adore You taking him out. And there we have it. Warwick. Wow, it was so close until the very last second where both Rosden and Rift pulling their way, doing amazingly with those picks, and the awareness. Rift tries to go for the flank with that overclock, but can't seem to land it. Rosden here looking so beautiful. Look at the value of that whole hook, pushing them all in the corner. That was crazy.
It's the HUD, man. It came down to those two linchpins of this composition of this meta, those two overpowered heroes, the Soldier and the Roadhog, and in the end, tank diff, Rosden lands the all-important crucial hook. Nice stall from Tox, to be fair, on the Lucio, and Portsmouth before that fight found a great little rotation, but that Kitsune Rush that came in from Todos, Portsmouth did not get anything out of it. They got no kills. They were managed to walk the bot all the way to their barricade, but with 40 meters left to give, Warwick just went in with their own, and then they charged it into more ultimates as well. So Portsmouth have been the aggressors. They've been the ones setting the tempo, but Warwick's disruption, their ability to find the picks, find the hooks, has been amazing these last 3 maps. They've been so good, just individually, mechanically finding pick after pick after pick. Every single fight. This is not a consistent way to play the game, ladies and gentlemen. It just is not. You cannot do this, but Warwick, they're getting away with it. And it's not even getting away with it. They are earning it. They are deserving it. And now Warwick Angels going through the winners bracket, the upper bracket. They are just 1 map away from taking our Null championship. Yeah, Portsmouth, they're going to have to rattle back 3 on the bounce. 3 maps in a row against this Warwick team. Do you see it happening, Shelter? Because with how Warwick are playing so far, it's going to have to be the comeback of all comebacks.
It's going to be difficult for Portsmouth, and especially as you were talking about earlier on during this game, Portsmouth had the advantage when they have more team cohesion due to the amount they've scrimmed together, and Warwick really have the mechanical advantage. But after watching that Esperanza game, I believe now Warwick have now got that team cohesion down as well. They were so aware. The communication was on point. The ult usage amazingly executed, way above par compared to Portsmouth. If they can keep this up and keep this team cohesion, and Portsmouth don't if their mental crumbles, I think that's it for Warwick, and I think Warwick will be our grand final winners here. It really depends on this last map. I am so excited to see this.
I don't think their mental will have crumbled just yet. I still believe in Portsmouth to be able to at least make this one a close contest and really give it their all on what could potentially be the last map. Portsmouth once again are going to get pick. I believe it's going to be, is it another control map? Should be, right?
Yes, I believe we're going to a control map that hasn't been played yet.
Good.
So no Ilios.
Good for Portsmouth. Portsmouth are very, very good on control. The compositions they play is a lot better. Push is such a good game mode for Hog, right? That map, all of the maps on that point are all of the push maps are very, very good for Hog. Unfortunately, when you've got I Adore You and Meta One being able to pull out the Torbjorn and the Sojourn at this level, it's been a great 1v1 Rift versus I Adore You on this Sojourn mirror all night, and unfortunately it's just been overshadowed by JJPT and Rift. And I mean Todos and Keydog as well on these Kirikos have both been deadly. There's been so many great micro 1v1 matchups, and you really, I kind of feel for Todos a lot in this meta because traditionally he's been on these carry flex supports, and he is on a carry flex support now as the Kiriko, but it's just Sojourn and Roadhog are so busted that like you can't really do anything unless you land like a double headshot from your Kiriko, and it's just so difficult to do because you have to step up into ranges where you're going to just get railgunned or you're going to get Roadhog hooked. So
it's scary stuff. It's absolutely scary stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna have to cut you off there. I'm sorry, Jace. We have to head into a break and need to cool down, let the teams mentally prepare. 3-minute break. We'll head over to the match point after the break. Get comfy, grab your popcorn. This is an exciting match. Don't miss it.
What is that?
It's cutting edge VR, Flynn.
It looks like it's something from the future, you know?
Flynn took a trip to future London. Saw something she wasn't supposed to. Now people from there are trying to kill us.
Transcend humanity with Omen.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you're ready for the fifth map of the series. We are at match point. It's currently, I believe, 3-1 in favor of Warwick Angels. I am so pumped for this. We are ready to go. Head back onto Control, which is the game mode that Portsmouth, I believe, picked up. So, do you think they're going to do it again, Jace?
We shall see. Control is one of the most even game modes, and they came out sort of a lightning fast, Portsmouth, with their adjustments and their strategies. I think Control naturally does benefit them. I believe it's probably the map that they've won the most. Against Warwick, they've done it before. They've beaten them on Nepal, playing similar compositions and the ones they won on Ilios. So I truly believe it. They got so close on Circuit Royale as well. It feels really... Not quite going to say fake, Shelter, but it just feels so disheartening to see, if you're a Portsmouth fan, to see them drop that map, because I think they played so well on the defense, but their attack, like, was just... Warwick's defense was better. I mean, they full held them, I believe. They got like 60 meters less. Warwick managed to push it all the way up to the top of that slope, and Portsmouth couldn't even crack first. So, you know, offense does win games, as is the saying, but Portsmouth are going to have to be a big response, as you said. Warwick, one map away from winning the Null 2022 Winter Clash Championship, and so far it's just been off the back of Froston and I Adore You on the Hog Sojourn. These two stupidly overtuned characters. The Hog has been so good all evening, and hey, even when they subbed him out, Meta 1 and I Adore You stepped up on those DPS as well. So they're not just a Hog one-trick team, and that dynamic, the carries that Roston has got behind him, have added a new dimension, a new dynamic to Warwick, and it's absolutely empowered them to three very, very strong map wins.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the only way Portsmouth is going to bring that back is, number one, step up the cohesion, get it together, focus up, work as a unit, and second of all, I mean, that's the obvious, but second of all, adaptability. We saw their adaptability on Control Point on Ilios on map 1, and it went exceptionally well. Control especially is a very important game mode to be adaptive around, because you don't get a lot of chances to switch comps without losing all your ult economy. Even with the Overwatch 2 change, where you do retain some of that ultimate percentage after switching, it's still vital to be adaptable and ensure that you know what heroes to switch to at what time perfectly. Yeah. And I think Portsmouth can do this.
Portsmouth absolutely can. One of the traditional counters, one of the heroes that they've used to quell the aggression from Warwick historically has been the Sombra. Yes, it's been nerfed, but I think it might have to come out from Rift. They might have to go back to that Sombra Reaper composition. They've used it to beat Warwick so many times, because whilst the hack now is a lot weaker than it used to be, that damage increase, that damage boost, it might still be the way to run over this Roadhog if you're trying to go for it. Yes, the protection Suzu can come out from T-Dog on that Kiriko, and it has done many times, but at least you get that Suzu out and you basically trade it just for that hacked cooldown, and that is always a trade that Portsmouth are going to win. But Lukey Boy and the Farah has also been so good. This is one of the best Farah maps in the game. You know what Warwick are going to do. They're going to sit on this objective, and well, Shelter, it's just perfect. Lukey Boy has to go big on this Farah here, because if not, Warwick are going to take this, they're going to set on point, they're going to accrue free percentage and put themselves within 1 or 2 rounds away of winning this whole thing.
Absolutely, as we see Warwick TP up to the top right. Oh, a lovely little pick from Lukey Boy straight off the back onto Misaka Miyamoto, sorry. And Rift also taking down I Adore You. That's 2 members of Warwick down. Rosden, of course, there to pick up Rift, though. No more carry for Rift. That's what we're getting. 1 pick is it, as Meta pushes with the Sim. Can't quite seem to get any damage off, or significant damage off, on the side of Portsmouth, and so he's forced out with the boop, pushing down to 1 HP, can't quite TP out, and gets taken out. That should be Portsmouth picking up the first point on Nepal here. As I say that, I Adore You does take down Lucky Boy, but it doesn't matter. Toxinator is there with the Mercy to return the favor. I Adore You does pick up Toto's fan though, but eventually gets taken down by Lucky Boy as revenge. He also picks up Key Dog. Rift also coming back and avenging his own death by picking up Rosden here. And there we go. First fight going to Portsmouth.
Yeah, the pick onto Orisa from I Adore You on this Cassidy was a little bit scary for Portsmouth, but winning this first neutral fight so important for this Farah Warwick and just going to do what they did last time. Swap to every hit stand in the game and try and get this bird down out the sky. Now it's on Portsmouth, the 3 on the ground. Todos, Rift and Orisa to buy space, buy time for this Farah. This Farah will still be a problem, but Lucky Boy can play these angles and try and tighten and let the rest of his team do the work. Warwick now are a lot weaker in the brawl, on point at close range than they used to be, and it's not going to be too bad for Rift. While he can still outrange and one-shot everyone else.
Oh, I want to say that was a lovely ultimate from Toto's fan. It's red to see a useful result like that as Lucky Boy comes down with the barrage. Could only seem to pick up Misaka, but that might be enough. That's the main heals down yet again. I Adore You taking down Lucky Boy, but it doesn't matter. Lucky Boy gets the res from Toxinator. Meta 1 taking down Rift, but Rosden with a whole hog onto Toto's fan 01. Lucky Boy also takes down Key Dog, and that should be another fight in favor of Portsmouth. There we go. This is what they needed. This is the key hit fusion we love to see. Meta 1 gets taken down, but Rosden, as soon as I say that, cost is cost. Toxinator and Lucky Boy going down from I Adore You and Rosden. There's the pharmacy down for the count as Todos reverses the favor onto I Adore You. That might be it though. Warwick are pushing up now, gaining control of the point. They flip it, and we're now in favor of Warwick. The point is red.
That's an illegal outplay from Todos. It might give Portsmouth a great recontest opportunity, but they could not kill Rosden. That is the main target. Once he gets himself on his objective, the Orisa is down. They could not displace him. He just starts hitting hooks exactly as he did, but Portsmouth have already got flipped back.
Yes, they've got it immediately. They completely neglected the point from Warwick. It doesn't matter though. Rift taking down I Adore You, but Rosden returning the favor onto Todos fan, who was left alone on point. Couldn't quite seem to stay alive long enough. Meta with a beautiful double kill onto Todos and Lucky Boy, but it doesn't matter. Rift also there with Key Dog. Lovely little railgun there. And now, yet again, the point gets flipped in favor of Warwick. I say that as Rosden also gets a pick onto Toxinator, delaying the next fight even further.
Great little barrage. Key Dog on the Mercy just goes to pocket the soldier on the flank, and it's unfortunately for Portsmouth, it's wrapped up like a Christmas present, that last fight, thanks to that tack visor. Meta 1 doing such a good job of playing around the attention that's being drawn in from Rosden on this Roadhog. Lucky Boy now going over to the Genji, trying to counter swap against the 2 hit stands. It's going to mean that Rosden has got a lot less damage pressure outside of that rail gun, but if they can just go for it, never mind. Rosden falls first.
Oh, yes, Ross is down, but it doesn't matter. I Adore You avenges his fallen brother as Lucky Boy gets taken out by him. Rift also takes down I Adore You though, and Rosden does get the res. This is the value of a Mercy. We love to see it. Rosden also picking up Toxinator there, and there's the whole hog coming from Rosden. Gets a pick onto Todos Fan 01. Rift, Rosden turn the favor onto Misaka though. Lovely little gun, but that might be it on the side of Portsmouth as Warwick still gain control of the point. We're at 74% here now.
They still have it, but Portsmouth have a really nice recontest opportunity if they go with it. This high noon from I Adore You is going to be so crucial. Rosden now gets another pick onto Rift. That's so much damage down, gone. This could be final fight territory. Portsmouth, are you going to regroup? I think you are. We get a sigh of relief. Overclock from Rift in this next fight has to be massive. Todos is going to go onto the Winston to try and pressure these hit stands, but it's such a horrible matchup. Insta Boston on the Roadhog, 96 on the board. I Adore You goes for the high noon.
Oh, here we go. Can't quite see the line. A lovely little overclock from Rift taking him out. That's the problem when you're Cassidy and you're ulting. You have that immobility. And Rift with a lovely kill to Keynog and Rosden. No resistance for the side of Warwick as Misaka also gets taken down by Lucky Boy. Todos Fan also taking down Meta. Wow. Oh my gosh, they pick up Nepal Village Rift out of nowhere, putting Portsmouth on his back and completely deleting Warwick off the point.
This was a Rift stiff. Absolutely. The Sojourn coming up so huge time after time again. The overclocks were like 30 seconds apart most times. Such a powerful, empowered ultimate. Really empowering that Sojourn. They needed it because Lucky Boy on the Genji is going to be great at 1v1ing the squishies, but you need to pressure out Rosden. You need to poke him out. And really on this composition, Todos can do it, right? Todos Fan 01 can do it. Todos and Todos Fan 01 can do it, but the damage isn't going to be the biggest, particularly when the Roadhog has that take a breather still available and they can get the Suzu as well. A big railgun shot is something that you need to try and capitalize on, and it's a really hard play from Rift because you either go for that Roadhog and chunk him out, or you try and get a one-shot onto the squishies. And when you're hitting shots like Rift was with those railguns, headshotting the backline and the other DPS, Man, Portsmouth are just loving life right now. The comeback is slowly starting for Portsmouth. They're not out of it just yet.
Oh, I just say that though. I adore you taking down Lukey by a lovely little pick there, but the res will come out from Toxinator, so it was negated. No res though on the side of Portsmouth as Rosden takes down Todos, and Lukey Boy yet again gets picked off by Adore You. I Adore You pressuring Lukey Boy so much here, looking so strong here on this Cassidy. This is what we love to see.
Yeah, they're going to make the swap over now. Tox probably going to go to the Lucio, and the Reinhardt coming out, interestingly enough, just having that shield. Because what was happening last fight and what has been happening in these competitions is Roston has had too much free time to just walk on Todos and hook him. When you're playing Pharmacy, your other support, so exposed, so dangerous, cannot really seize it yourself if you get hooked. Just impossible interaction. Nice hook from Roston, but it's onto the tank, so it's not going to one-shot him.
The combo with those TPs and hooks are so beautiful. That is the key adhesion I was talking about. And there's another hook. They completely ignored it. They knew he was there and just forget he was there. Lukey Boy instantly getting taken out somehow, even with 250 HP. I Adore You also getting the double kill onto both supports and Rift down to the count. Meta One also picking up Todos Fan, and Warwick still hold on to the point.
It's a disaster for Portsmouth Shelter. That is what they picked the Reinhardt for, to try and shield off these hooks to allow the Reaper to get onto the objective, and he just gets one shot by Roston. I don't quite know if the damage boost came in from Keydog. It might have just been a full one-shot combo from Roston, but if that damage boost, that Mercy Beam comes in, you will one-shot basically everyone on the side of Portsmouth for that Reinhardt. Note that the target goes down, but it goes wide.
There comes the ults coming in from both teams, and a lovely little lamp from the side of Mikasa, so he's just able to stay alive. Lukey Boy does take down I Adore You though, and Meta does also pick up Todos Fan as well. So back and forth. There is no front line, no, for Portsmouth. This may force them back. As a lovely little hook onto Lukey Boy, just escapes and then gets picked off by Misaka. Eventually, Keydog also taking down Rift. While that's happening in the background, lovely jubbly from Warwick Angels here. Great picks all around.
Yeah, the down in ultimates, Todos is going to have the Sunni Rush to go in and answer. That's going to have to be the big investment. And JJ, aka Todos Fan 1, will have this Earth Chapter. It's going to have to be free. It will be free, and it's going to have to be massive. The Sunni Rush comes in first. Can they convert? Just last time, we did not.
Oh, a committal of the shot onto Idol. You know, high noon from Cassidy. As he does take down Toxinator though. Next one also picks down Lukey Boy. It's overtime now, but it doesn't matter. Portsmouth do flip the fight. Now holding on to the point. They do, I believe, force back Warwick here. It's just Rosden here on the left, just trying to look for a pick. Anybody left alone trying to go for the hook, but can't seem to find anybody. Lukey Boy back here with the Death Blossom, and Keydog does take down Rift successfully. There's a carry down. Misaka also taking down Todos Fan. Toxinator down. Todos and Lukey Boy falling both to Meta One and Keydog, and there we go. It's 1-1. It's up to this. Shrine goes in favor of Warwick. If Portsmouth lose Sanctum now here on Nepal, that's it. Our grand finalist winners will be Warwick.
And this last map is all thanks to Meta One. That is one of the best points for Symmetra in the entire game. The turrets, the TPs, everything. They just could not afford, they just did not, Portsmouth, look at Meta One on the Symmetra, and he absolutely made them pay. So strong, so charged up late in these fights. And whilst you've got so much pick potential from Rostam and I Adore You in these later fights that Portsmouth are looking to win, it's Meta One that is single-handedly just being able to sort of walk in between and amongst the chaos and find solo kill after solo kill. A lot of DPS struggle in this meta at killing a Rotom, at taking down a tank in the 1v1, but not Meta One, especially not when Keydog is going to give him a damage boost as well. This sim has been lethal so far. Ooh. This map, and it's such a good point for sim as well. Warwick, I think, are really favoured here compositionally going into Sanctum.
Absolutely, and of course we have a massive death pit in the center of the point, and you know what that means. It's time for environmental kills, as we saw on well. I Adore You with a lovely pick onto Lukey Boy. The question is, will Toxinator be able to get that res? I'm not sure yet, as Keydog does get the res on the side of Warwick instead. Rift does take down I Adore You, but there, as I talked about, the res up for the count, and Warwick taking control of the point, looking very dominant here.
Warwick are going to take control of the point, but Portsmouth might have an answer. Rift is going to have to hit so many shots to flip this fight, though.
Absolutely. Rift with a beautiful long-range pick onto Misaka. There's no Baptiste, no Lamp on the side of Warwick here now. As Meta charges in onto that point, there's the microwave that we love to see as Todosfan goes down. Rosden also picking on Rift and Iodoi taking out Luki Boy, but Luki Boy returns the favor. That's a lovely little trade. Toxinator does get the res though, so it is in favor of
Todos, no way.
Does take down Mercy battles. We love to see it. That's what I'm looking for in Overwatch. Iodoi also yet again taking down Luki Boy. So much pressure being applied from him on Luki Boy on that farm.
That's so impressive. Todos almost won the 1v1 against the Roadhog, but Rosden lives on a sliver of HP and he's just able to take a breather and run away. 40% on the board on counting now. Warwick have got their ultimates up, and it makes it harder for Portsmouth to rotate into them. This Sim is going to be able to free or charge. This Hog is going to be able to free look for Hawk. And I adore you well. He's been doing it all evening. Rift answers back and the rest comes up. So Portsmouth do have numbers, but Rosden on the flank.
Here's the flank and a pick onto Luki Boy. Can he get more? Rift does. He's carrying the team there with more picks. Can't quite seem to get any more value thanks to a beautiful peel from Todos Fan 1 and the Fortify and the E. Spinny, celery spin. That's what we like to see. Leek spin, sorry, I apologize. Wrong vegetable, but it doesn't matter. Rift gets a pick on to Toxinator. No, sorry, Key Dog. As Toxinator gets a double kill. That's what we like to see. Is that Neptuno? Yes, it is. I adore you taking down, getting taken down by Toxinator as well as Misaka. Rosden looks like resets. Toxinator also taking down Meta 1. DPS Mercy.
Yep, Glock in the chat from Tox pulling out the Battle Mercy, and it was maybe the first and only time I've ever seen the Battle Mercy be useful. Great pick. Ego it through the window into Mikasa. I thought you're just staring down the barrel of double damage thanks to that amplification matrix, but Tox won the 1v1 anyway. This is a great start as well. They get rid of Metal and they get rid of the bomb. Warwick Angels invest in this fight, but Portsmouth invest harder. They impact better. And they're going to get themselves now almost equal with Warwick's percentage. So far, Portsmouth really, really well, doing well now that they've got control of the objective. But ultimate's coming in, Warwick. This shield from this Symmetra is going to allow them to walk onto point.
What? Oh, okay, it was on the bomb. I thought that was a player for a minute. Oh my gosh, that would have been insane. Iodoi does take down Rift, but it doesn't matter. Toxinator is there for the res. No Ash ult though on the side of Luki Boy as Iodoi takes down Toxinator. Here comes the whole from Rosden. Iodoi also pushing him with Rosden, and Iodoi looking amazing here. There's a team kill, beautiful sweep, a lovely little ace on the side of Warwick Angels.
Here we go, 30% and counting is all that separates Warwick from them and the championship for Null Winter 2022. Portsmouth are going to have a response. They've got no ultimates to go immediately, which means they're going to have to play the time bank. And well, the clock is not on their side. It is not their friend right now. Rift over clock is going to be so crucial. That ultimately we might get picked just by Rosden here.
Oh my gosh, can't quite seem to connect the hook though, Rosden. He may go for an environmental kill, and that would be amazing on the last few fights. Doesn't seem to connect on, unfortunately, as Todosfan capitalizes on that and pushes the point, making so much space for Portsmouth. This is it, Portsmouth. It's now on.
No, Rift dies!
Overtime gets propped, and Meta does take down Rift, and that's their carry, but doesn't matter. Todosfan on Rosden. Oh my gosh, Misaka also taking down Toxinator. This is it, Portsmouth. It's now whenever the bomb comes down. Iodoi is 4, but taken down also as Meta 1 pushes.
I pushed him off!